Tara's body shook, like one who had just seen a ghost. Before Kemi could ask what the problem was, she ran out of the house in terror, leaving everyone puzzled at what she could have seen. Kemi stood there, shocked, as she watched Tara run off with speed. In that moment, she knew that something was definitely amiss. She ran after Tara, but Tara had long gone, so Kemi decided to head to her home to know why she ran off abruptly without saying a word. She arrived Tara's home and met Tara, sitting on the floor and gazing in the distance, lost in her own thoughts. "Tara, is everything alright?" Kemi asked, but Tara sat there quietly, not uttering a word to her. Kemi was now worried, as Tara did not look herself. She did everything to make Tara speak, but Tara sat there, mute and unresponsive, her eyes wide open in terror. Kemi shook Tara gently, but there was no reaction. Tara's whole body trembled, her breathing shallow, as if she had seen something startling. Kemi's heart raced with concern. She knew Tara's sudden exit from Wumi's house had something to do with what was haunting her now. So, she sat beside her friend, trying to understand what had caused this extreme fear, but Tara seemed so unfazed.
"Tara, please talk to me,"
Kemi said, her voice filled with concern.
"What did you see? Why are you so scared?"
Tara slowly turned her head towards Kemi, her lips trembling, as she tried to speak. Her voice came out as a faint, shaky whisper. As she spoke to Kemi,
"I'm being blackmailed,"
she said, as Kemi's eyes shone in shock.
"How? By who?"
Kemi asked, as Tara handed over her phone to her, which had pictures of Tara with Mr. Oguremi, their maths teacher, in a compromising position. Kemi could not believe her eyes. She asked Tara why she had to sleep with Mr. Oguremi, and Tara, with tears in her eyes, revealed her struggles with maths and how Mr. Oguremi offered to sleep with her in exchange for good grades. Tara knew that she could not fail maths. Her father, being a renowned professor, threatened to disown her if she failed to pass all her exams, especially mathematics. Tara knew how serious her father was, and coming from a family of extremely brilliant people, she knew that failing was not an option. All her siblings graduated with the best results, and Tara could not stand being seen as the dullard of the family and had to do something about it. She had to prove to her father that she was not a dullard, and to achieve this, Tara had to pass all her exams, including mathematics. However, no matter how hard she tried, she was never good at maths and found it difficult to understand. So, she approached Mr. Oguremi to see if he could tutor her in maths, but Mr. Oguremi, seeing how desperate she was, decided to take advantage of her. For months, Tara has been warming his bed, not caring about the consequences of doing so. Now, someone had pictures of them together naked, threatening not only to expose her to the entire school, but also to deliver the pictures to her father. Tara could not let this happen. Her father would definitely disown her if he ever caught sight of the pictures, and Tara did not know what to do. She could not believe that she was now at the receiving end of a ruthless blackmail. Kemi was so stunned. She never imagined that her best friend Tara was carrying such a heavy secret. Tara, who had always appeared confident and in control, was just as vulnerable as anyone could be. Kemi's heart raced as she processed the information. The weight of everything was almost unbearable, and although Kemi was still trying to heal from Tara's betrayal, she knew that she had to help her out of her current predicament. Kemi loved Tara too much and was willing to let everything go because of how much their friendship meant to her. She had to find a way to stop the blackmailer before Tara's life was ruined. "How long have you been dealing with this?" Kemi asked Tara, who revealed to her that she got the text message at Wumi's house.
"Kemi, I'm scared. My father is going to kill me if he ever finds out,"
she said to Kemi, who assured her that they would get to the root of the matter together. Tara could not believe that Kemi was willing to help, despite all that she did to her. Tara's eyes filled with tears as she looked at Kemi, overwhelmed by the weight of everything that had happened between them. She never expected Kemi to offer her help, especially after everything she had done. Tara had ruined Kemi's trust, had hurt her deeply, yet here she was extending a hand of friendship.
Kemi, why are you doing this? After all the terrible things I did to you, I don't deserve your help.
Tara whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Kemi looked at her with a small sad smile and replied,
Because despite everything, you're still my best friend, Tara. We've been through so much together, and I can't just watch your life fall apart. We need to figure out who this blackmailer is before it's too late.
Tara nodded, wiping her tears.
But how? This person has a picture of me, naked with Mr. Oguremi. What if we can't stop them?
We will, Kemi said firmly.
But first, we need to start suspecting everyone you've wronged in the past. Anyone who might want revenge.
Tara's face darkened as she thought back to all the people she had blackmailed over the years. The list was so long, and Tara had a lot of enemies in school who she used their secrets against, forcing them to do things that they never wanted to do. It was not shocking that she too was now being blackmailed, but who could this blackmailer be? Could it be Folake, who was blackmailed with the contents of her diary, where she confessed that she was in love with her cousin? She felt so humiliated by it and was willing to do anything to keep it hidden. Or could it be Bayo, who Tara realized was giving his parents fake results, showing how well he was performing in school, when in actual truth, he was failing all his classes. Tara threatened to expose him to his parents if he didn't do the things that she wanted. As Tara listed more names, Kemi began to realize just how many people had a reason to take revenge on her, but none of them seemed capable of orchestrating something this elaborate. The blackmailer wasn't just someone with a grudge, they were meticulous and ambitious. Their blackmail was not centered on tax, but on money, as they requested that Tara provides 2 million naira or risk being exposed to her family. Kemi tried so hard to understand why a student would request for such a huge sum of money from Tara. She stared at Tara, her mind racing. 2 million naira was no small amount. The blackmailer wasn't just out for revenge. This was a serious extortion scheme, and it made the situation even more dangerous. The kind of money they were asking for suggested that whoever was behind this had significant leverage and wasn't acting alone.
Tara, how could a student even think of demanding that kind of money?
Kemi asked.
This is bigger than just a simple grudge. Whoever this is, they know your family's financial status, and they are not just trying to ruin your reputation. They want something more.
Tara nodded, her hands trembling. I don't know how they found out about my father's wealth. Maybe they've been watching me for a while. Kemi's thoughts moved fast. We need to narrow down who could be capable of something like this. Not just someone with a grudge, but someone who knows your family and has the resources to pull off such a sophisticated blackmail scheme. Tara leaned forward, her mind replaying all the people she had wronged, trying to piece together any potential connections. She thought of her enemies, Folake, Bayo, and even some other students she had crossed, but none of them seemed capable of pulling such a complicated extortion plan. Then it hit her. Mr. Oguremi, the maths teacher, he had access to everything: the students' personal information, their academic struggles, and even their backgrounds. And more importantly, he was the one Tara had been sleeping with to improve her grades.
What if it's not a student, Kemi?
Tara said, her voice trembling.
What if it's him? What if it's Mr. Oguremi behind all of this?
Kemi's eyes widened.
You think he's blackmailing you after all this time?
Tara swallowed hard. He has the most to lose if our affair comes to light. He could lose his job, his reputation, everything. But he could also be using this to make money. Maybe this whole thing is a setup and he's using someone else to cover his tracks. The more they thought about it, the more it made more sense to them. Mr. Oguremi was a man with a lot of influence over the students. He could easily manipulate them, just like he had manipulated Tara, and he was in a position of authority, giving him access to all the information needed to target Tara's family's wealth.
We need to find proof.
Kemi said, her voice resolute.
We need to figure out if he's really behind this or if he's working with someone else, but we can't confront him until we are sure.
Tara nodded in agreement, her hand still shaking. But how do we find proof? He's been so careful, and I can't ask anyone for help without risking exposure. Kemi thought for a moment before an idea struck her.
We can trace the phone number. If we can get access to the blackmailer's messages and calls, we might be able to figure out who's really behind this. Maybe we can even see if Mr. Oguremi is connected.
Tara nodded. But how do we trace the number without drawing any attention to ourselves?
I have a cousin who's good with tech.
Kemi said.
He's done stuff like this before. He can help us track the number and figure out where the messages are coming from.
The next day, Kemi contacted her cousin Tunde, explaining the situation to him. Tunde agreed to help, but warned them to be careful as this was a delicate situation that could backfire if they weren't cautious. A few days later, Tunde provided them with a breakthrough. The phone number used to blackmail Tara was untraceable through conventional means, but Tunde had managed to narrow down the location of the messages. They were coming from within the school, which meant the blackmailer was closer than they thought. With this new information, Kemi and Tara devised a plan to confront the blackmailer. Their suspension period was now over, and they returned to school, determined to find out if Mr. Oguremi had anything to do with the blackmail. One evening, as they waited in a secluded area of the school compound, they watched as a figure approached, none other than Mr. Oguremi. Tara's heart pounded in her chest, but Kemi placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. This was their moment. Just as they were about to step forward and confront him, another figure emerged from the shadows. Bayo. Kemi's eyes widened in shock. Tara, it's Bayo, she whispered, astonished. Bayo walked up to Mr. Oguremi, handing him a brown envelope. Kemi and Tara watched in disbelief as Mr. Oguremi took the envelope, nodded and walked away. Tara's breath was now caught in her throat. Bayo, it was him all along? Kemi, equally stunned, shook her head. No, it looks like Bayo's working for Mr. Oguremi. He's probably the one who took the pictures and sent the messages. Kemi and Tara decided to confront Bayo, who stayed behind checking his phone nervously. Bayo, Tara called, her voice filled with anger. Bayo looked up, startled to see them. His face paled as he quickly tried to put his phone away. I know what you've been doing, Tara said, stepping closer, her voice filled with fury. You're the one sending the messages, aren't you? You've been working with Mr. Oguremi, blackmailing me for money. Bayo's eyes shone in confusion. Tara, I can explain. It's not what you think. Then explain, Kemi said, stepping forward as her tone became cold and sharp. Bayo swallowed hard, struggling to speak. I don't know how to say this, but Mr. Oguremi has been the one providing me with the fake results that I showed to my parents. I just handed him my original results for him to create the fake one. I don't know anything about any blackmail. Please don't tell anyone. Bayo began to plead with them, not to expose him for what he had done. Kemi and Tara could not believe their eyes. All the while, they believed that they had caught the blackmailer, not knowing that they hadn't. Tara was so frustrated. She stormed out angrily, pushing a girl whose phone mistakenly dropped to the ground and broke. Tara was so full of rage that she didn't even care that the girl's phone had broken. They sat in the quiet hallway, close to the library, as Tara let out a very loud cry. She was so exhausted from all the blackmail and had no idea where she would get the money to pay the blackmailer. Just as they sat there, the school bell went off as school had closed. Tara and Kemi decided to stay back in school for a few minutes to strategize on their next steps. As they walked down the halls, they overheard a phone conversation that caught their attention. She'll pay the money, don't worry. Let's just give her a little more time, the person said as they hung up the phone and began to laugh. They peeked into the classroom and saw Yemisi. The girl Kemi shaved her head with a scissors while she was asleep. Tara, in that moment, remembered how she blackmailed Yemisi with the fact that she had a child. Yemisi had kept this hidden for years and was petrified to know that someone in the school knew about her child. She succumbed to the blackmail and was forced to do things against her will to keep it a secret. On one of those days, Yemisi got into an accident that almost cost her life. She spent months in the hospital and was said to have spent so much money in hospital bills and was now struggling financially. Everything began to make more sense to Tara, who was convinced that Yemisi was the blackmailer. She is deep in debt, and this explains why she needs 2 million naira from me, Tara said to Kemi, who could not help but agree. They stormed into the classroom to confront Yemisi, who denied ever being involved in any kind of blackmail.
We were not expecting you to admit it,
Tara said to Yemisi angrily as she requested to know who she was talking to on the phone. It's none of your business, Yemisi said to Tara with a cold stare, her voice firm and unyielding. Tara, furious and desperate, stepped closer, pointing an accusing finger at Yemisi.
Don't lie to me, Yemisi. I know what I heard. You're the one blackmailing me, aren't you? You've been plotting all this asking for money because you're in debt. You want revenge for what I did to you.
Yemisi's face twisted into a cold smile, her eyes narrowing. Revenge? You think everything is about you, don't you? Tara, I won't deny that I hate you for what you did to me, but blackmail? No, I don't need to stoop to your level for revenge. Kemi, who had been quiet the whole time, stepped forward. Yemisi, if it's not you, then who? Someone is out to ruin Tara, and they are using her past mistakes against her. Yemisi rolled her eyes. I have no idea who's doing this, but you should look deeper. Not everyone is after money. Some people just want to watch you suffer. Tara, overwhelmed by anger and guilt, clenched her fist. If you're not the blackmailer, then who else could it be? Just as the tension thickened, Kemi received a text message from her cousin, who was helping them track the blackmailer's number. I've got something that you need to see. Hurry! Tara and Kemi rushed as fast as they could to meet with him. When they arrived, he showed them a picture, and Tara noticed that it was the picture of Mr. Oguremi and herself, the same picture that the blackmailer was using to blackmail her.
Why do you have this? How did you get it?
Tara asked Kemi's cousin, who pointed at the door to the owner of the phone. They both turned to see who it was and was shocked to see the girl who Tara pushed and broke her phone. It was Aisha, one of the quiet girls in their class, someone who rarely spoke and kept to herself. Tara's jaw dropped in shock.
You?
Tara stammered.
You're the blackmailer?
Aisha's eyes shone with a cold rage. Yes, me. You never saw it coming, did you? But why? What did I ever do to you? Tara asked, her voice trembling, knowing that she had never done anything to Aisha before. Aisha stepped closer, her face filled with extreme anger. It's not what you did to me, Tara. It's what you did to my sister, Bimpe. Kemi's heart sank as she realized the connection. Bimpe, the girl Tara had wronged, was Aisha's sister. My sister Bimpe never got over the way you humiliated her. She cried herself to sleep for weeks because of what you did. You crushed her spirit, made her feel worthless. Aisha hissed. She was always the sweetest person, but you destroyed her. Tara's legs felt weak as the weight of her past actions came crashing down on her. She had never thought twice about the harm she had caused to Bimpe. Aisha continued, her voice cold. When Bimpe couldn't take it anymore, she took her own life, and that was because of you. I swore that I would make you pay for what you did. Tara's breath caught in her throat. She had never known about Bimpe's death, never realized how deeply her actions had affected her.
I didn't know,
Tara stammered, tears filling her eyes.
Aisha, I didn't mean any of this to happen. I'm sorry.
Aisha's expression hardened. Sorry doesn't bring back my sister. I wanted you to feel the same helplessness, the same fear that Bimpe felt because of you. That's why I blackmailed you, to make you suffer. Tara fell to her knees, sobbing.
I'll do anything. Anything to make it right. Please, Aisha, I'm begging you.
Aisha's gaze softened for a brief moment, but she shook her head. It's too late for that, Tara. You can't undo the damage you've done. But maybe now, you understand what it feels like to have your life ripped apart. Kemi stepped forward, her voice trembling. Aisha, revenge won't bring Bimpe back. It won't heal the pain. We can find another way to heal with this. A way to honor her memory, instead of continuing this cycle of hurt. Aisha hesitated, the conflict evident on her face. For a moment, it seemed like she might relent, but then she turned her back on them, grabbing her phone from Kemi's cousin, who she gave the phone to repair. She walked out angrily, not caring about the chaos she had left behind. Tara collapsed into sobs, guilt weighing heavily on her shoulders. The reality of her actions had come crashing down like a wave, and she was left drowning in regret. Kemi knelt beside her, placing a comforting hand on her friend's back, though her heart was heavy with the weight of everything they had uncovered. What had happened was that so many months ago, Tara realized that Bimpe slept off in class and urinated on herself. Instead of helping her out, she screamed out to the whole class that Bimpe peed on herself. Humiliated by what had happened, Bimpe rushed off to the school toilet and locked herself up. The news spread round the school, and Bimpe could not withstand the humiliation and stares from the other students. She stopped going to school and started to miss classes because of this. The news was now all over social media about how Bimpe urinates on herself while she sleeps, and people, not only students of her school, were now aware of her condition. Bimpe felt so ashamed of herself and could not stand the humiliation anymore. She took her life, and whilst everyone thought that she only changed schools, they never knew that she was dead. For a few moments, Tara and Kemi sat in silence, both consumed by the magnitude of what had transpired. Finally, Kemi spoke softly. Tara, we need to go to the principal. This has gone too far. Tara wiped her tears, her voice shaky.
You're right. I have to take responsibility for everything I've done.
The next morning, Tara and Kemi went straight to the school's principal's office. They explained everything to the principal about the blackmail, Mr. Ogunremi's involvement, and Aisha's revenge plot. Tara confessed to her role in the hurt she had caused over the years, especially what she had done to Bimpe and the other students in the school. The principal was so shocked by the revelations, but commended Tara for finally coming clean. We'll have to investigate this thoroughly, the principal said sternly, and there will be consequences for everyone involved. But Tara, I hope you've learned from this. Hurting others will only come back to haunt you. Tara nodded, her face pale.
I have. I'll never let myself become that person again.
Over the following weeks, the school took swift action. Mr. Ogunremi was fired and faced legal consequences for his misconduct. Aisha was suspended, but after much consideration and counseling, the school decided to offer her help instead of punishing her further, understanding that her actions stemmed from grief over her sister. Tara was also obligated to apologize to all the students that she had wronged. Her father caught wind of all that she did with Mr. Ogunremi and decided to send her far away to a military school. He was so disappointed in her and believed that she needed to be in an environment filled with discipline. Before she left, however, she made amends with those she had wronged, including Aisha. Though it wasn't easy, she apologized sincerely to everyone she had hurt, hoping to rebuild some of the bridges she had burned before she left. One afternoon, after everything had settled down, Tara found herself standing at Bimpe's grave. Kemi had come with her, offering quiet support.
I never wanted this,
Tara whispered as she knelt by the grave, tears streaming down her face. I never meant for this to go this far.
I hope you can forgive me wherever you are.
Kemi stood beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. You've done what you can, Tara. Now it's up to you to live better from here on out. Tara nodded, wiping her tears and taking a deep breath. She had a long way to go, but she knew that she couldn't change the past. All she could do was make sure that moving forward, she would be kinder, more thoughtful, and never take the power of her words and actions for granted again. As they walked away from the grave, Tara felt a strange sense of relief. She had learned a painful lesson, but it was one that would shape the rest of her life forever. Kemi and Tara learned their valuable lessons and retraced their steps. They both experienced the consequences of their actions and realized that the pain they caused others could come back to haunt them. In the end, Tara and Kemi understood that they couldn't undo the damage they had caused, but they could make the choice to be better, to treat others with empathy, and to live with a greater awareness of how their actions affected those around them. It was a painful lesson, but one that would shape the rest of their life for the better. The past couldn't be changed, but the future was theirs to rebuild, step by step, with the people who mattered most standing by their side. The lesson to be learned from this story is that actions always have consequences. Treat people the way you would like to be treated, and you would live a peaceful life. Do not bully others because bullying has a psychological effect on those affected, and not everyone can withstand the effect. Be kind and considerate towards others, and learn to be your brother's keeper always. I hope you enjoyed the story.